Hello, how you guys doing? Welcome to my channel and thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you and I hope you're having a great day. So I'm back with another discussion video, and today we're going to be talking about the Isle not being what it used to be. There are going to be various topics I'm going to talk about. All the links to each topic will be down in the description, so if there's something that catches your eye that you want to listen more about, or you may be not even interested in certain topics to talk about, then by all means you can click them and enjoy those parts. But apart from that, the whole point of my discussion videos are for us to have a chat in the description as well, so if there's anything you agree or disagree with, feel free. But do bear in mind, of course, when this video comes out and when you may watch it, there may be certain things that are different. Maybe some patch came out, maybe even an update has come out. We're pretty much talking about this whole year anyway, 2023. But anyway, let's get started. So this year, on paper, is probably the best year that the Isle's ever had. Not necessarily the Isle, but let's just dumb it down to Evrima. Since Evrima's release, we've had a new map, and we've had weather system. I mean, we've had 4 new playables, like the ones you see on screen now. Derato, Trudon, Gali, and Bepe. Now, all 3 of these things are still subject to change, still in progress, working. So by all means, none of them are perfect, but I think some of them are far from what people expected. And that's what the problem was. Because realistically speaking, that sounds great. Has Evrima had a weather system yet? No. Has it had a new map yet? Apart from Spyro, of course, I guess you could count that as new when Evrima actually came out. But apart from Spyro, this is the new map. The map that everyone's been waiting for a long time, and they couldn't wait. All the work they've put into it and what we've been seeing before it came out was like, this is going to be amazing. So what's the problem? So some of these issues are the Storm change, which is probably the most controversial one. But I think most people are united with it's a shit idea, the way they done it. I don't think most people have an issue, including me, with the Storm have been lowered a little bit or the regen taking a little bit longer. But how bad it is now is not acceptable. It is boring. It does not make the game exciting at all. You're sat there for most of the time. It went from people taking a piss out of calling it a walking simulator because there weren't enough playables yet to it's a sitting simulator now. And also regening your health in general also takes a bit too long, but that I can kind of deal with. I guess you could say that's a bit more realistic. It's same as breaking your leg. Naturally, you wouldn't just heal your leg by sitting down, of course, but then it wouldn't make the game fun at all, so I'm okay with that taking some time. I can get used to that. But stamina? No. I mean, there's just so many problems with the Storm change. It's unbelievable. That's off the top of my head. We got a new map. What does that mean? People like to explore. It's almost like they forgot that a big reason of why people play the Isle in the first place, especially new people, is because they like dinosaurs and surviving, which means walking around, and sometimes that does mean running around, because who doesn't like doing that? But exploration, that's what you take away with this. You cannot explore, and there's a few reasons attached to this reason. Storm is one of the biggest ones, because you're always sitting down, you can't run around to explore. And if you want to battle me on that, saying that, oh, you know, well, you can just take your time by walking everywhere, okay, fair point on that part. Storm regen though still takes way too long, and they should improve that, or at least give us a lot more Storm to compensate for that. But then if you're also stuck because you got no Storm because you just had a fight or whatever, or you're starving to death, which we'll get onto that in a second, so you need to run to find food. God forbid the predator comes to find you, because then what are you supposed to do? Some of your attacks will take Storm, so you can't use them. You can't run away because you got no Storm either, so you might as well just lay there and die. And then the reasons attached to this: starvation. You can only pretty much find food as a herbivore in migration. You can rarely find food outside of migration dotted around. Usually it's just one diet like S. When I say rare, I mean rare. So of course you can't explore. You can only go highlands. Like, I am sick and tired, I want to throw up seeing highlands, and highlands is one of the most beautiful parts of the map. But if I'm forced to have to see the same place because migration is so messed up, it's already been so long that I'm already fed up with the paths I have to keep seeing. Northeast or highlands, it's pretty much all I see unless I travel in between somehow. But it's just ridiculous. It should be encouraged to go to migration. Like, you can get all your diets here, but not you can only get food here. There should still be your diets. I don't know, maybe northeast has your S, maybe southwest has your dots. So you still have to travel quite a fair bit, but if you want all diets, you can go to this this place, but migration. Now, doesn't that sound a lot better? You can still explore the map. You can still go to one place. Okay, you might sacrifice your diet a little bit. Oh, I'll just stick with 3 dots because I haven't explored this area yet. But it's fine. At least I'm not going to die or have to rely on eating grass every 10 minutes because it only fills up my food for 10%. And on top of that, who wants to eat grass? And then this pretty much works the same with carnivores because, of course, where herbivores are is where carnivores will be because there's also not that much AI. I've also had people in my comments, by the way, saying that there's so much AI. I don't know where or what lucky tree they fell from because I have not seen that. I mean, I want to be where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have very rarely seen AI. I'll ever see a lot of it for 10 minutes. Like, I'll see like 2 squads of pigs, you know, a baby pig with his mummy, daddy and brother, whatever. But if you're an adult Carno or Cerato, they don't fill you up too much, so you have to constantly hunt, which means you need more AI naturally, but it's not enough to sustain you. And then you're forced to stay in migration because, of course, herbivores are forced there, because if you go outside of that, then you can only rely on AI, and a lot of times you do not find that. So this all makes for a very boring and limited type of gameplay. That's the point of me bringing up all these issues. The new map. Now that's where the problems start. Probably the most good looking map since the Redwoods. That most people would say that the Redwoods were a beautiful map, a very old map that was on the Isle for a little bit. But then you've got so many hills that kill you. And I'm talking about not even just massive cliffs, I'm talking about like little hills that it's almost like their sole purpose is to just take your life away. I've streamed, seen about 11 within, I'm not trying to bullshit here, within about 10 minutes, about 9, 10, 11 dinos died of a cliff. I only didn't die because I just got lucky seeing the cliff, so I went, okay, let me find a way down, and I found it, smelt there, and because I found food that obviously died from falling off the cliff, and I was eating there, I was streaming it, and then dinos just kept falling down. In fact, my friend died twice. Bless him, Zatrix. Yeah, I mean, that's one issue right there. Then you have got the sound. It's the sound crackling of when it gets to heavy rain. So it might look great, but the sound, it's just like really loud and it's almost painful to listen to. Crackling, crackling, crackling. And audio is probably the most important thing. You can have a bad looking game with great audio and you'll do well. You have a great looking game with terrible audio, you ain't gonna do well. Weather system wise, I don't think there's really any problems with it. I think it actually is probably the only thing they've added into the game that I can't really shit on. I think it's beautiful the way they've done it. The ambience of the game is amazing, but I do believe that they fixed the crackling sound, at least from what I know of, and maybe the last patch. So this might not be the case anymore, but then I haven't been playing that much, so I'm not quite sure. So I didn't want to say that now and then be like, someone be like, that's not there anymore. So if it isn't, then great. If it is, then well, it's still another thing that needs to be fixed, right? The fog, the mist, the rain, the different types of rain, the storms, the light rain, the heavy rain. It's all great. Even though at times it can be foggy for a good while, and same with raining, you know, sometimes it can feel like it's just always foggy, but still it's a nice atmosphere, I would say anyway. And then, of course, I got the 4 new playables. I've already touched up upon. I don't think there's much I can say about them because, well, nothing wrong with the playables they've added this year, and I think most people are happy with them. I mean, I do feel like Trudon's a bit of a waste of space, but I don't hate it entirely. I just think it's, for me personally, it's too small to play. I just don't like seeing grass all the time. So they're the main things that happened this year, and obviously we've got things that should be happening this year, but that we'll only talk about, of course, when it actually happens. Another issue as well is humans. As much of an unpopular thing to talk about, people like them, well, people love them, let's say, or people hate them. The whole idea of them, their existence is just a very complicated one. There's not really a right or wrong with humans, let's say, right? There's obviously a lot of issues with them being in a game, and a lot of positives too. But then that's where unofficial servers, I think, will shine, because if you really like them, there'll be service for you, and if you really don't like them, there'll be service for you. But the issue is they're not playable at all at the moment. I, for example, on my server have them enabled, but you cannot play them at all, as you see here. I click humans, but you can't spawn them anywhere. Obviously, this is probably a result of when update 6.5 came out. I don't know what happened during the time they were coding stuff or whatever it is. Humans got destroyed, and they would fatal error you or anyone near you if they died. So of course it became an unplayable thing. So instead of fixing them, maybe it's such a big problem. I don't code, so I don't want to talk shit on the devs on this, because of course if I don't code, I'm just going to be talking absolute nonsense. But obviously I would presume that the issue is so big that they had to, or at least it was easier to just ban them from being played now. Of course they pretty much took away an extra playable away from us. Whatever way you want to look at it, it is another playable. And let's let's talk about some more issues as to why a lot of people have left the game. Otherwise, entirely, I just fed up to the point that like I'm just not playing the IO again, or just taking a massive break until it gets fixed, if it gets fixed. So I spoke about cliffs, about Stam, about health, and about the map in general, and these changes. They're pretty much starving all the time. The amount of times I've died to just starving to death, both Predator and Herbivore. Mainly Predator though, of course, because Herbivore, I will just go to migration at least that way. Even if I'm forced in one area, I don't die of hunger usually. But Predators is a bit harder, because of course, I now think that migration does promote, which is normal, but it's just naturally going to happen, is that you have more dinos together. And there seems to be a lot more Stego players, so as you know, a Kano is not really going to take on a Stego. A Cerato, more likely, but still very unlikely that will happen, considering how quick you die and how long that fight takes. So if you're starving on food, you're otherwise forced into an unnecessary battle that you know you're not going to win. Like in my last video that I uploaded, I had to fight a Kano and die. Well, I mean, I didn't die myself, but I had to save log. And then when I came back, I was so low on food that I just died anyway because I couldn't find anything. But you're pretty much forced into unnecessary fights. Or if you don't fight them, then you just die. So I guess your chances are, let me try and fight this Stego, and you're already losing health, so goodbye as soon as it hits you. And what I mean, because I feel like, of course, I've been talking about all the issues and stuff and how we're meant to get all this positive stuff, and it's not really as positive as most people thought. And what I mean by the IO not like it used to be is that, of course, all these issues were not there. Like Legacy, for example, the joy you'd get from playing it, of course, it had its own issues too, which we don't need to touch on now, but I think most of you know them. Hell Riding Simulator, some people call it. In Legacy, obviously, they're all just the same dino, just skinned differently, let's say. They just look different, but the same thing. Some have more health, some have more bleed, a few differences here and there, like of course Dino has much better night vision and etc on all the dinos, but they're very limited compared to Evrima. But of course Legacy still, because of the simplicity as well and the more horror feel to it with the night vision and graphics that it gave, it was a lot easier to play. And Evrima so far is nowhere near what they're promising, and let's be honest, the whole game has been a beta since 2015, so people are just finally losing patience. You know, there's already been a lot of people that lost their patience with this game, but videos on YouTube or people searching for a dinosaur game, and there not being that many, of course I still got loads of players, a lot of new ones, but with how it's been now, they're just losing more than they're getting at the moment. But to turn it into a positive note, I know this whole sounds a bit negative and everything, and I'm just speaking about what the IO is like and how beautiful it used to be, and now it just kind of seems like with every update they release, they lose players than gain players. But on a positive note, with the playables we're gonna be getting, with Rex being one of the new ones next, we're probably gonna see a lot more people coming back and playing. But a lot of these problems I've mentioned have to be fixed. The whole stamina thing, probably most of everything, because it limits so many other things on the game, like I mentioned earlier on, that's kind of just making us not want to play. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed it, a sub maybe if you're new, and like I said at the beginning of the video, if you have anything you agree on or disagree on, please let me know down below. Just don't be a dick about it. Let's have a nice mature discussion about it. And yeah, of course, if you're watching this video and an update's already out, I may have changed a few of these things. Bear in mind that I made this before this update came out or patch. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.